All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. I did say in one of my other videos I would make a walkthrough of my 911 996 Turbo. It's a 2004 cab, so it is convertible. I do have the hard top on it right now. But yeah, so just going to make a little walkthrough video of what it's like to own a 2004 911 Turbo 996 series. So I'll do a little quick walk around. Take a look at what it looks like from each angle here. I like the styling quite a bit on this car. I know there's been some talk about, of course, the headlights not being the traditional round headlights of the 911s. But I like it, and it's very of this like era, 2004. Like it looks the part for the time, but then in the same sentence, I almost feel like it is a timeless design too. This is my favorite view of it, and I've seen a lot of people write articles about and make videos on their favorite, view of this car, and this is definitely the most popular view of this car, is that back angle. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful car. It's nice and small. It's still a very tiny car. A lot of the newer 911s are huge. They just seem way bigger, a lot bigger vehicles. But these 911s, this 996 came with 295 rear tires and 245 front tires. So that's the width of them in millimeters. 295 in the rear and 245 in the front, staggered fitment. These are some pretty big rotors and pads on the front here. These look like, to me, 4-piston. I'd have to actually look that up, but I'm seeing 2 here, and then there should be 2 on the inside too, at least in the front. And then the rear looks the same too. There's a lot smaller, obviously, and they're the drilled rotors. But yeah, this car's been a lot of fun to own. It's been fun to drive. It's definitely a reliable engine in there. It's the turbo model, so you don't have the base model's IMS bearing issue, which is, if you are looking for one of these, that's a big motivating factor to spring for the turbo if you can, just to avoid those issues. This is what the interior looks like. I like the interior design. A lot of people do talk about how dated it looks compared to like modern vehicles, but keep in mind, this is an older this is over 20 years old now. It is a 2004. So for its time, and if you compare it to the 993 model that came before it, it's definitely more updated than that. And it's just nice and simple. I like it. It's got not a whole bunch of buttons everywhere that you have to get confused with. It's just a nice, simple design. There's not much that you have to really worry about. For popping the trunk and popping the hood, or the frunk, I should say, it's where you have the release for the frunk. So we'll take a look at that and kind of get an idea of what size you get up front here. Mine is a little bit smaller. This is the little wind guard for your convertible when the convertible's down. You can put that in the back seats, and that gives you a little wind guard. I always keep this just for safety. Never know. I don't drive it that much either. I do keep a trickle charge on it. But so I have this here, which makes it not have quite as much room. I have the Allen wrenches. That's how I release the hard top there. Just drop that. But yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of the space. Not a whole lot of room here, but definitely, you can do some grocery shopping on it and stuff like that. You're not going to fit golf clubs up here. That you would use the back seats for. The battery is located up here. You needed to get into that. But the back seats are very small, primarily used for me, for my 2 young sons. They're 8 and 5. I put them back there with their boosters and car seats and stuff, and they fit fine. They've got plenty of leg room for them, but for an adult, it's not a whole lot of room, to be honest. But yeah, these do flop down as well, so that can give you kind of like a little flat storage back here if you so needed, to kind of just give you a little bit different storage capabilities there. Nice flat surface. But yeah, not a whole lot of room back there. I'm not even going to climb back there just because I'm a big guy, and yeah, I'm not going to climb back there, but you can see what it looks like there. As far as front space, for a small car, I feel like it has good leg room and good headroom. Come around to the passenger side here to see as well. Passenger seat, leather. The seats themselves, they're not horribly uncomfortable, but I will say they're not super comfortable. On long trips, just the way they're designed, at least for me, it's my personal preference, they're not the most comfortable seats. I don't know if I just need to keep messing with the settings on them to make them feel more comfortable for me, but yeah, they're not the most comfortable seats, but they're fine. They're not bad. They do come with both speakers. That standard stock that it came with, which is nice. Come around the driver's seat, climb in there. Let's actually pop the engine bay first. So it's a little button that lets you release the engine bay. It's electronic. And this is what it looks like in here. It is packed in there for sure. It is a 3.6 liter flat six with 415 horsepower and 415 pounds-feet of torque. It's twin turbo, and it is all-wheel drive system. But yeah, you can see it is a crammed in there motor. There's no dipstick. The only way you can measure the oil, obviously you can add oil here, but the only way you can measure the oil is through the system inside. There's no dipstick. So yeah, no manual checking your oil, and you can only do it when it's warmed up to operating temp. So we'll get inside and take a look at a few of the options here. Keys obviously on the left side. We'll fire it up too. Good to get a little. There we are. This is aftermarket. This does not come standard. One of the interesting things that the German engineers made here is a little cup holder that comes out to two. That's the stock cup holder deal. But yeah, so that's kind of an unusual way to get a cup holder in your car. This is how you lock and unlock the doors. This is for the convertible lower and put on, so obviously it's not going to work right now. I have my hardtop clicked in and fastened, so it knows that that's not going to happen. This is your rear defrost, which yes, does work even with your hardtop. It knows and connects up. This is your Porsche stability management system, so it's your traction control. You can turn it off and on. This you can raise and lower your fin. This doesn't naturally happen until you're going, I believe, over 75 miles an hour. But like if you click this, you can raise it. I'll go back and you can see, bring it all the way up. You can see what it looks like. So that is the fin raise. I just manually raised it. But yeah, that will actually naturally come up when you're driving down the road above 75, I believe it is. So yeah, that's kind of cool if you want to have a nice raised fin look and you're just wanting to take some photos. You can just raise it yourself manually, and there you have it, which is nice. It does have heated seats. That's high mode, that's low. The interesting thing is you might not know right away how to turn it off. You just gotta go to the other side, and that's how it turns off. Both seats have it. Turn it off. All the windows are operated here on the right hand side. Got a window here. The cool thing is it does have back windows too. If you can see that, they come all the way down, so you can have a full open side window there if you wanted to. So this is kind of what the interior looks like. That is I believe, manual release to get to the trunk for if you have a dead battery. I don't know if you can see that from this angle. The lights are operated on the left side here. In order to do your oil, like I was saying, the only way you can do it is you pull up this little menu display by hitting forward, and then there it is, oil. You can hit start measurement, and then it'll tell you what your oil's at. But anyway, we'll take it out for a spin here and see how it goes out on the main road. Just be a little quick video of us driving it. And yeah, if you ever wondered what it was like to be on the inside of one of these cars, they are still, I would say, very affordable cars if you can find one in good condition and in your area. In the 6-speed manual, I would spring for the 6-speed if you can. The Triptonic is probably fun to drive as well, but me personally, I enjoy the manual feel way more than just letting the computer do it for you. And the Triptonic is not the new PDK transmission either, so it's not the dual clutch. It is a old school, what I call slush box transmission. So until you get into the newer series like 997, that's when they started having the PDK transmissions, and that's a dual clutch. So that's, you know, an actual manual type transmission that is done automatically. This car is very mechanical feeling. Like, obviously I have a lot of Acuras and I talk about the shifting feel and all that. This shifting feel is very mechanical. Like, it goes into gear like clunky. Not in a bad way. I mean, it feels great. I love driving it. But it is definitely more like notchy going into the gears, as opposed to nice and just gliding smooth, if that makes sense. But extremely fun car to drive. I love the steering on this car. Very tight, very tight, very sporty, quick turning ratio. Does not take a lot of wheel turn to get your car turning, if that makes sense. So yeah, I love that about it. Very sporty feeling, and it's very quick for this age. Now, the 0 to 60 range anywhere in the, it's roughly in the fours, the low fours, right around 4, 0 to 60. It does have quote unquote top speed 189 miles an hour, and quarter mile is in the high 12s, I believe, roughly, as the 6-speed manual. So still pretty quick even in modern terms. Obviously you got all these cars that are below 2 second 0 to 60 with some of the Teslas and stuff like that, and electric cars, and even the hybrids. I know well, there's a lot of cars out there where, I mean, the speeds are just insane now. But for what I like doing and driving on the regular roads, like, this is a very comfortable, quick car. It's definitely not crazy, insane fast that you are like super scared driving it. But then it still does, you know, you still got to respect it. It's definitely quick enough to be, you got to be careful. It is all-wheel drive, but it is rear-wheel drive dominant. So that, and of course with the engine being all the way in the back, it's definitely got to be careful with the rear end. I mean, I feel pretty confident in it, but it is something where, like I said, you have to respect it, and you gotta definitely, if it's wet outside, or, I mean, I keep the PSM on 90% of the time that I'm driving, just because it's that extra level of protection, as you could say. And I know it's, some people, you know, it's a lot more fun having the manual. Just take it off and, you know, throw the car around a little bit. Maybe if you're going to the track, that's what you can do. I have taken this to the Porsche Club had an autocross last year, a couple years ago. I took it to, but that's low speed, just going between cones. You're not getting, you know, we really even have ever out of second gear. You're going maybe top speed around 60-ish miles an hour, and that's for a very short period of time. But that was a lot of fun. I took that out there, and they give you 4 runs. Maybe one of these, I did record those videos too. I might post that if I, you know, find those and put them on. I might post those so you can see them. But yeah, this has been a fun car to drive and a fun car to own. There will be a couple areas where I'll be able to give it a little gas, and you can see getting up to the little bit higher speeds. But yeah, it's been a real fun car. Yeah, so we'll drive it around and Find a few spots where give it a little bit of gas. But yeah, this car tracks very well, and it is turboed, and you would think there would be a lot of turbo lag, and people talk about turbo lag, but this is twin turboed, and I feel like they did a really good job with this, not having a lot of turbo lag, because kind of wherever you're at, I feel like there's power. I mean, you have lots of power, pretty much in any RPM band. Obviously, you get most your top power is around 6,000 RPMs. I think this thing maxed out around 67.5, just below 7,000. 67.5, I think, is the rev limiter on it. But yeah, it like even right now I'm in third gear. If I give it a little bit of gas, I mean, this is not its power band, and I can feel power kick in right away. It's not super crazy power. Obviously, you would downshift if you wanted to get, you know, your full power out of this speed I'm going now, but it doesn't feel underpowered even in your gears that are not in prime, you know, RPM for the power. So I really like that. Always kind of feeling like you have power wherever you are. I mean, I've been on the highway in sixth gear going, you know, 55 or whatever, and you know, let's say you're at a 70, I can get up to 70 in sixth gear so easily without even downshifting. So and that, you know, that's definitely not in the power band level there. So let's see, there's a spot I can pull out here, give it a little first gear pull into second. You can kind of get an idea. These are fun roads, these kind of back roads on here. They're not super fast roads, but still, even at, you know, 30 miles an hour, you can feel the nice, you know, steering feel of the car and the grabbing of the tires that it has. Pretty big fat tires in the rear, 295 like I mentioned earlier. I think 997 they bumped it up to 315. I'd have to double check that. I'm not entirely sure. It's either a 305 or 350. I know it's over 300 on the 997 turbos. They made them a little bit even wider, which gives you even more traction. Obviously, they had more horsepower than the 996 did. But yeah, this is just the steering wheel feels nice too. And this era, keep in mind, this is like the era of the Carrera GT. So the steering wheel and the steering looks very similar. Obviously, Carrera GT's, you know, stick shifts is a different area, but the steering wheel looks very similar. This is that era. So that you also kind of get that for owning this 996 turbo in this era. It's the Carrera GT era. But yeah, we'll give it some gas here, getting onto this, kind of see what it's like here. So yeah, it really really picks up good there from first to second, and it is really easy to do too. That's the thing, like the shifting is easy. Yeah, it's mechanical and it's notchy, but man, you go up and go right into second. It lets you drive the car, and that's what I love about this. It's very driver focused, and obviously this Porsche, that's what their whole brand is sold on, you know, the driver experience and you know, sports driving and enjoyment of cars, like driving your car. And you know, in so many ways, especially with this model and a lot of the models they've created, they have done a good job of making some reliable sports cars that you can drive, and they still maintain their value if you do choose to drive them. They're meant to be driven. They're not meant to be just sat, you know, in a garage somewhere, just keep holding value at, you know, 1,500 miles on the car. These cars are meant to be driven. Obviously, I have over 93,000 miles on this one. But yeah, these are fun cars to drive, and they're meant to be driven. And Porsche did a great job on this car. So anyway, just a little walkthrough video of the 911 Turbo that I have, and the kind of how it is and how it looks and how it drives. If you enjoyed this video, keep watching all my videos I have, and please subscribe if you can. And we'll see you next time.